Alright guys, still here. I think as of today it's been like 3 weeks since my last video was uploaded. And then whenever this gets, maybe a day or two before this gets uploaded. What I'm about to do is start kind of getting everything geared back for shop work. So a lot of my tools, my miter saw, several other things were moved into my enclosed trailer to go install that mantle and cabinets and trim work. So I'm about to start cleaning up from the last project, which is like scrap wood, and I've kind of shuffled some stuff around, some tables and things in here, and then I've got scraps that I need to decide what to keep, what's valuable and what's not. And I've gotten more and more where I'll throw stuff away more than I used to. My threshold of what's good to keep is a lot higher now. So I'm about to do that, and then I may start bringing some tools back into the shop and see what project we get into next. Might be a vanity. About to send a quote over for a small little vanity that a customer wants put into an alcove area. So for 2 other bathrooms, they just kind of picked something up from like not from Lowe's, but they kind of sell Lowe's type vanities. It comes with the countertop and the sink and everything. But this one being inset into that alcove, it's going to have to be something custom. So doing that, getting ready for that. If that project doesn't fall through, or does fall through, I've got 2 projects potentially to do here at the house. So one of 3 I'm kind of juggling right now. I don't know exactly which one's going to be next, but looking forward to that. So getting geared up for whichever project it is. The other 2, I'm going to build a hall tree in our foyer. So that'll consist of multiple cubbies and some hanging storage and maybe drawers along the bottom. The third project, I've got a little clubhouse I want to build for the kids. And I'm trying to do it basically for free. So I think that'll be interesting to kind of try to face that. Using some pallet wood, using some stuff you find off a marketplace and things of that nature. But anyway, I'm throw y'all on time lapse and start kind of cleaning up and just trying to get some content out to y'all in this kind of limbo period between projects. I've also been doing a lot of stuff around the house, just kind of maintenance stuff that's almost too boring to put on here, or it's not really filmable that easy. I also would like to follow up with the cabinet and mantle project, kind of tell y'all some stuff that I like that went well and some stuff that didn't work that good. So thanks for sticking around. Several tools here I've got to put back in the trailer. A few tools will have to come out of the trailer to make room. Kind of been doing the shuffle with tools and materials. The shelves ended up being so big that I couldn't fit all the tools in there. The aisle down the middle, I have some toolboxes on one side and some shelves on one side, and I may show you all that trailer at some point. But anyway, the aisle down the middle ended up being almost exactly the size of the shelves laid on their side. So a few bigger tools that I might normally keep in the aisle, like a vacuum or whatever, I needed that tool, so I had to take some other tools out to make a spot for it to clear the aisle. So that's something I got to do next, would be put those tools back where they go, and then bring the tools that come into the shop during a project. So that's something I kind of split. I can't afford to miter saws, or it's not justifiable. In some cases, like a track saw, I only got one track saw. So I shuffle these tools back and forth with, working in the workshop versus working on job sites. And historically, over the past 5, 8 years or so. It's been more on job sites, doing side jobs. But now I'm shifting it more with young children. I want to do more workshop-based projects. So I'm slowly kind of making that transition and seeing how that all works out. But anyway, so I guess, like I said, the next step is either going to be, I got a few things I can clear off the table saw here, a few more scraps to take out. I got a little trailer, I just pile it up, and then when it's full I go to the dump. But I'm going to shuffle some of this stuff around, maybe bring a few tools in, and see where we're at there, see what we're looking like, what I need to do after that. Alright, I got all my scrap stuff cleaned up, and I have 2 pieces of this 1/4 inch pre-finished birch ply left from the vanities, or not vanities, I'm so sorry, the 2 built-ins I just built adjacent the mantle and fireplace. And the way they were just wider than 4 foot, but not more than 4 foot tall, so I had to lob off, 3 foot or so of 2 sheets of plywood. Ended up needing 2 because they didn't have 5 by 5 sheets at the time. Anyway, so I haven't nailed down any of these counters yet. I haven't screwed them down or nailed them down. And the same with these upper shelf pieces. So I'm able to pull them off the wall a little bit, and the reason I haven't affixed them is because this is such a dynamic workshop situation, still trying to figure out the layout I really like. This may shift to the other side of the garage, this front to back or side to side. So because they were loose, I was able to pull them out and slap this piece in. Didn't cut it, didn't change any of the dimensions, and it happens to be exactly tall enough to go up to my little scrap piece that's on the light, and exactly wide enough for the shelves. So that looks a lot better than that 70s brick. So I'm going to do a little more cleanup here, set the miter saw back in, and that'll be this kind of corner of the shop done. Switching back from job site to workshop. Another project, I mentioned 3 projects, so we've got potentially a vanity coming up, and then I also mentioned a hall tree, kind of mud room, storage lockers, and then also the little kids clubhouse. A 4th project that may be thrown in the mix before or after some of those projects is I'm going to go ahead and start on my other bank of cabinets. So I've got the miter station here, I've got the door, man door to get in the garage, and then I've got another similar amount of space, 8 or 9 feet there. I think it's about 8 feet. So I want to build a set of cabinets there, a base cabinet, and then a drop down for the Craig Foreman. Come back up with a base cabinet, and then drop down again for the rigid oscillating belt sander and spindle sander. And then if there's enough space, come up one more time with another base cabinet. So 3 base cabinets with 2 drop down counters for those 2 stationary tools, and then some kind of dust collection. The first cabinet I got to build has to be mobile, so it'll be like a wheeled base cabinet. The reason for that, I have a disappearing stairwell over here that's about a foot off the wall, and I need to be able to roll that first cabinet in the series out of the way. I can drop the ladder down to gain access to the attic, and then put it back majority of the time. So that may be an upcoming project. Like I said, I'll throw it in there. It may even be the next little video, because organizing and making more workable area in here helps the other projects to get done. So I'm going to do that, and then just continue. Tonight I'm going to continue just kind of cleaning this up and getting it back into a workshop. So I'm going to do that. That's probably going to be all for tonight. This video may continue into tomorrow. But I just wanted, I think I've said it a couple times already, but I just wanted to get y'all some content out here. It's kind of been bothering me how long it's been since I've had an upload. And I may just cut it short here. and just have a couple short videos. Matter of fact, that's what it's going to be. So there'll be a time lapse after this, and then that's going to be the end of this video until I can get y'all something else. So thanks for tuning in as always, and I'll see y'all a little bit later.